The following take comes from a highly appreciated member of the casual wrestling community, a community where we promote open discussion and discourage negativity. If you are a casual fan, please subscribe to the channel and help grow the casual movement. The following take comes from a respected member named
We Too Deep's big takeaway is Triple H cannot book. It's obvious at this point that he cannot tell a single creative story by himself. He relies on legends way too much as an emergency blanket. His treatment of the women's and tag divisions over the last year have been abysmal. I struggle to recall one good storyline over the last year outside of Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. So Deep, I thought that as well. If you'd asked me this last month, I was right on board with you. But in the last 30 days, I've kind of opened my perspective and opened my mind just a little bit and tried to get into the shoes of Triple H. And what I've kind of discovered as I have investigated the booking style of Triple H is he's extremely safe. Extremely safe. And he's not going to take risk. He isn't going to put anybody in a position that is put up or shut up. He's not going to force people to earn it. He is going to make the most safe, comfortable booking decisions, and he's going to use the wrestlers that have established trust with him. He likes Rhea Ripley as a champion. He can trust her. He likes Cody Rhodes as a champion. He can trust him. Jey Uso got over with the crowd. He trusts Jey Uso now. He's going to reward him. And Gunther, while not my favorite, Gunther is a very trustable heel. He's not going to fuck up. He's not going to say the wrong thing. He is going to keep a very solid baseline. And while it may not excite us all, it is extremely safe. Gunther's not going to drop the ball. Now, the women's tag division, unfortunately, I think is a product of lack of interest from the casual wrestling fans. And I think you could maybe pin this to the early moments of that division and not drumming up enough excitement. But I think, let's be realistic. For the last year, Bianca Belair has single-handedly held that division on her shoulders. And I think now Triple H has kind of passed it over to Liv and goes, well, let's see what you can do with it. But he's not going to invest heavy resources into that division because the crowd's just not reacting. I think the issue is it just doesn't generate interest. And Triple H, like I said, safe. He's not going to invest resources into it. Look, they put the titles on the Witchy Girls at one point. They tried to do something different. He took a little bit of a risk and it didn't move the needle. So he immediately went back to what was comfortable and what was safe. And he put the titles back on Bianca and Jade, which I think was the right decision. But I think at this point, we got to face the reality. Triple H he's just not going to take big chances, right? He's like a coach in the NFL with a lead in the fourth quarter. He's going to run the ball. He knows what works. He knows what doesn't work. He's not going to have a bunch of big whiffs because, here's the reality that we don't talk about. Triple H's job security is not promised in TKO. Like, he has a bad year. They will start to look. They've shown that they will move. They will move on. And I think especially with old Dwayne at the helm, Dwayne's probably chomping at the bits. It's funny. It's like, I always use professional sports, but it's like when a new owner comes in, Triple H may not be the coach that they want. They may have other ideas. So I think the idea is that Triple H plays it safe so that he doesn't have any big whiffs and he doesn't compromise his position in TKO. I also think, though, that there's an issue for the most part of public perception, and that is outside of maybe some of the more informed casual wrestling fans in the IWC, I think for the most part, if you asked somebody right now who watches wrestling, they would tell you Triple H is cooking. Now, you present evidence to the contrary, and I won't argue with you on that, but I think in general, if you took a poll, for the most part, casual wrestling fans would say Triple H is doing a good job. The mass majority of WWE fans are happy right now. What he does is he builds one or two big moments a year. And that keeps people's spirits up. And he uses those as momentum to move forward. You mentioned Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. That was his big dish in late 2024. He gave that to us because that fueled us kind of up to Royal Rumble. Then he has Jey Uso win Royal Rumble, right? No different than Cody Rhodes finishing the story. He's using these moments to create kind of safety nets and these big emotional outbursts that we get built up. We have a burst of excitement, and then he allows us to cool off while he cooks up the next story. And I think the next story we're headed towards, and I could be wrong, but I think we're headed towards like a corporation era, like the next iteration of The Rock being in charge and what that means. And I think with Triple H, these story beats are enough to keep casual fans engaged, even if the minute-to-minute moments in Monday Night Raw are not at the highest level they could be. He's not gonna have any big missteps and let the audience pick up on that. You mentioned like him relying on the legends, but the legends are safe, right? Anytime you bring in a legend, that's a tool in your tool bag that's almost guaranteed to work. And the reality is, all of us who've ever worked a job, if somebody presents kind of a cheat code or a tool that makes your job easier, we're going to use that tool. We're not going to push that to the side and go, let me make my job harder than it is so that I can prove to everybody I'm real good at my job. No, we go, I like my paycheck. I'm gonna use the tools that are in my bag. Like, nobody grabs a screwdriver when you have an impact driver, right? You use the tool that takes the least amount of effort. So when you have John Cena, that's a cheat code. When you have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, that's a cheat code. Even CM Punk has been kind of a unforeseen cheat code that we didn't know was going to exist. But that's Triple H's safety net. I think what you want, and what we all kind of want deep down inside, what you want is him to take a couple chances. You want him to make a couple risky decisions that we could be on the edge of our seat and watch him play out, and we can kind of, ride that roller coaster with Triple H. I just don't think that's going to be his style. I think he's going to book safe, and I think he's going to use misdirection. I think he's shown, and this is why I laugh when everybody overreacts to The Rock and all these things for WrestleMania. I think he's shown a lot of times Triple H knows the destination, but he's going to fuck with us on that path, and he's going to use misdirection, and he's going to make us look left when he's doing the right. He's going to tell us Alexa Bliss isn't coming back when she really is. He's going to tell us he hasn't had a conversation with CM Punk, then he shows up. He's going to tell us Randy Orton's not coming back, and Randy Orton comes back. Like, Triple H is going to use the dirt sheets. He's going to use every tool and avenue he has to throw us off, because he has a card written down right now for WrestleMania 41, and it's safe. And I think that at the end of the day, that's the style we're going to have to get used to.